With major phone manufacturers like Apple, Google, and at least in some regions, Samsung building their own processors, Qualcomm's Snapdragon CPUs are facing stiffer competition than ever. But there are still companies that will continue to need those chipsets, and Asus is a notable example of these. The Taiwanese electronics giant's ROG phones have high-end components that are targeted at the most demanding users and mobile gamers. And that's exactly the audience for the new smartphone for Snapdragon Insiders, a phone that Qualcomm built with the help of Asus that it says it's for its fans. It boasts features like a 6.8-inch screen with a 144Hz refresh rate, comprehensive 5G support, super fast charging, and special audio enhancements. Clearly, this $1,500 device is a showcase for Qualcomm's strengths, and though its name says it's for Snapdragon Insiders, anyone can buy it. But should you? That depends on a few things, one of which being your preference on phone sizes. This is a big phone. At 210 grams or 0.46 pounds, the smartphone for Snapdragon Insiders, which I'm going to call SSI from now on, is one of the heaviest phones I've used lately. Though most devices with such large screens tend to weigh about the same. The Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is lighter, but the iPhone 12 Pro Max and Galaxy S21 Ultra are actually even heavier. The SSI looks notably different from the iPhones and Galaxies, which, depending on your taste, could be a good or bad thing. Its rounded rectangle body has a matte blue finish with shiny red accents on the camera bump and volume button. And you know how bezels for selfie cameras went away over the last 2 years on most flagships? That's not the case here. There's still a thin border above the screen where the front sensor sits. That, combined with the silhouette and finish, make the SSI look pretty outdated. Another polarizing feature on the SSI is an illuminated Qualcomm Snapdragon Fireball icon on the rear below the sensor. You can set the light to breathe, where it glows on and off, turn it off altogether, or have it stay on all day. Even when it's not lit though, the logo is pretty obvious. It adds clutter to the phone, and it made feeling for the fingerprint scanner confusing whenever I wanted to unlock the device without looking at its back first. One last note on design. The bump for the SSI's triple camera array on its back is a surprisingly compact horizontal row that's neatly tucked away in the top left. It's smaller and thinner than those on the Galaxies and iPhones, although it does still protrude enough that the handset doesn't lie flat when you put it on a table. Topping the list of the SSI's premium specs is its display. The AMOLED panel is from Samsung and it runs at 2448 by 1080. It also refreshes at 144 Hz, which is one of the fastest on modern smartphones, beating the Galaxy S21 and Note series, not to mention the iPhone family. To ensure that you're shooting at your enemies as quickly as you can tap on them, the display also offers a 1 millisecond response time. I furiously scrolled up and down on the Engadget homepage as well as my Instagram feed, and the screen kept pace with my finger. Shooting at my enemies on League of Legends Wild Rift was similarly responsive, and a first-person shooter like Call of Duty was also satisfyingly speedy. Since it's an AMOLED panel, it also delivers vibrant colors and deep blacks on videos and photos. Its peak brightness of 1200 nits also makes for easy viewing under sunlight. The smartphone for Snapdragon Insiders is one of the first to feature Qualcomm's Snapdragon Sound technology, which promises low Bluetooth latency, multiple listening profiles, and smart amplifier software. The SSI also comes with a pair of wireless master and dynamic earbuds, but most of the audio enhancements will work through the phone's speakers too. The master and dynamic headphones were built using Qualcomm's Bluetooth audio SoC and support high-res 24-bit 96 kHz audio with active noise cancellation. Qualcomm also said these should stay connected to your phone even if there are lots of other RF devices around, so audio dropouts should be minimal.
I haven't been in many busy places during my testing window, so I can't vouch for how well these headphones stay connected to the phone, but the active noise cancellation certainly was effective in drowning out the treadmill drone and grunting people at my gym.
The company said that when the devices do ship later this month, they'll have features like high-res audio support and super wideband voice for greater call clarity. For now though, all I can say is the earbuds perform fine. Songs like Say So by Doja Cat and Next Level by aespa also sounded richer than on the Pixel Buds 2. The SSI itself also delivered loud and clear audio, although I don't usually expect great quality from phone speakers since I rarely am playing music through them. Sound effects and background tracks on games and YouTube videos rang out nicely, and that's pretty much all I need from a phone's sound system. Like most modern flagships, the SSI has a trio of cameras on its rear. The 64 megapixel main sensor with f1.8 aperture is accompanied by a 12 megapixel ultra-wide option and an 8 megapixel telephoto. That's a pretty typical setup, although the main camera here is sharper than those you'll find on iPhones and Pixels. Qualcomm said an over-the-air update is coming later this month that'll enable, among a long list of other things, a full resolution mode for better snapshot performance. Other enhancements that the update is supposed to bring include better texture or noise performance, improved night shot quality, video super resolution, upgraded camera tuning, and best autofocus experience. The company said the update will also fully optimize HDR via the ultra-wide and telephoto cameras, as well as multi-frame noise reduction. That's far too many things coming that could sway how I feel about the camera performance, and I wish they were available for testing before the phone hits shelves. For now, I'm supposed to take Qualcomm's word for it, and that's not how reviews work. Without the updated software, the SSI delivered lackluster photos that paled in comparison to the Note 20 Ultra and Pixel 5s. The Qualcomm phone's images had a blue or sometimes green cast, and weren't significantly sharper or clearer than the Pixels, which cost hundreds less. Google's portrait mode is also superior, and it never failed to keep the lanternfly I was taking pictures of in focus. Meanwhile, the insect came out blurry in 90% of the shots on the SSI. One thing I was able to test is a unique auto tracking mode. Qualcomm says it re-architected its AI engine to run machine learning based tasks better, and one of these features is an auto zoom tool in the camera. When you use the auto tracking mode, you can tap on the viewfinder to designate a subject, and the camera will automatically adjust framing to make sure your pet or your loved one is always in the scene. And by the way, this isn't an autofocus tool that'll make sure your kids or your fur babies always look clear. Qualcomm's method will actually zoom in and out to give your selected subject the spotlight. When this worked, like when I shot a clip of our video producer's adorable dog Zen as she ambled around the room, it was lovely. The camera zoomed in till Zen's face took up half the screen and we were staring into her soulful eyes, and it zoomed out when she moved out of the frame so we could always see her. But in my testing, the system was not always accurate at identifying people's faces and separating them from a background. That would be fine if it simply didn't do anything in those situations, but the resulting footage was nauseatingly jerky and it looked like the camera was searching for a subject. This is a nice tool in theory that could use a software improvement for better subject recognition, but even then, I'm not convinced I use it much. Another thing I'm not sure I like is the 24 megapixel selfie camera. Sharper sensors are nice in general, but the better clarity here didn't make a big difference over portraits shot on other phones. Again, I don't know if the coming OTA update will be effective, so I can only evaluate the selfie camera as I've experienced it. With a Snapdragon 888 CPU, 16 gigs of RAM, and 512 gigs of storage, the SSI has plenty of muscle and ran smoothly for most of my time with it. I encountered occasional hiccups when shooting portrait mode pictures in rapid succession and when trying to shift focus in auto tracking mode, but those are pretty specific to the camera. When I played League of Legends Wild Rift with screen recording on, the phone never lagged. It's worth noting that the SSI often ran hot though. After a couple of minutes of concurrent gaming and screen recording, or a few attempts at capturing video in auto tracking mode, even just a round of Catan, the area below the fingerprint sensor got noticeably warm.
The 4,000 mAh battery here tended to last me about a day and a half and sometimes more, which is impressive given the size of its screen and the refresh rate. I didn't go out a lot while I was testing this, so I didn't use 5G all that much. So if you are a heavy data user or you decide to set the logo to stay lit all day, the runtime you'll see will likely be shorter.
Speaking of, the SSI supports both millimeter wave and sub-6 5G, though your experience of the speed improvements this brings will depend largely on your carrier and service area. When you do run out of juice, it won't take too long to get recharged.
Qualcomm includes a Quick Charge 5 adapter in the box, which it says can get you up to 70% in 30 minutes or a full charge in just 52 minutes.
On paper, the smartphone for Snapdragon Insiders seems like a spec chaser's dream, but headline features like Snapdragon Sound aren't ready for testing yet. 5G performance is reliant on your carrier and coverage, while the camera is still pending an update that promises major improvements. Not only does this phone seem like it's not ready for review, it also feels far too niche. Even demanding users who might like a smartphone like this will get more out of a Galaxy Ultra or the OnePlus 9 Pro. Unless you're a rabid Qualcomm fan or need a beefy, long-lasting honker of a phone with a 144Hz screen, few people should get the smartphone for Snapdragon Insiders.
So for more reviews on Android phones, iPhones, laptops, wearables, and more, please make sure you subscribe to Engadget. And as always, thank you for watching.